Niger Republic has activated maximum alert and general mobilization across the entire territory, and the instruction is clear. They are mobilizing for a potential escalation with any hybrid force that is representing the interest of certain states in Niger Republic. According to the information, Niger has declared a maximum alert from the regime for its defense and security forces in response to growing threats. All personnel, including those in reserve, are being recalled to active service, and the definitive termination of service is suspended. So nobody can just get out of service in Niger right now. That's it. That's what they are telling us now. The government is also strengthening control over public and private media to ensure consistent information during times of crisis. The retirement of defense-related officials is frozen, ensuring the availability of all necessary human capabilities. The Ministry of National Defense is in coordination with other ministries oversees the operation of defense infrastructure. This mobilization reflects the government's determination to protect homeland in the face of security challenges. Now, there was a particular podcast by the president of Niger Republic today. It was a shocking podcast because, I mean, General Abdurrahman Tiani actually threw the kitchen sink at all the enemies. Because in this podcast, he made some revelations that were so shocking. You know, it was how precise, it was how, you know, well-informed he seemed from everything he said. And when you bring what he said together with what happened at the Diori Hamani International Airport, you will know that, man, this man really knows what he's saying. And again, I'm going to use this opportunity to say that Niger Republic has one of the best intelligence gathering personnel in Africa. One of the best. I can beat my chest to that. So, in an exclusive interview with Radio Television Nigeria, RTN, the Nigerian head of state, General Abdurrahman Tiani, denounced France's intention. Macron made a commitment before his departure that he would do everything to overthrow the Nigerian regime that dared to choose. That he would do everything to overthrow the Nigerian regime that dared to choose the path of sovereignty. That was before they left. So, this is General Abdurrahman Tiani saying allegedly that Emmanuel Macron said that any Nigerian regime that dare to choose the path of sovereignty. So it's not necessary that it is General Abdurrahman Tiani trying to stamp his feet on sovereignty. Like anybody from anywhere that choose that path of sovereignty will have problem with France. But ladies and gentlemen, you know, these people now, you know, they are really doing the best for their people, and they are preparing. Like I said, they are preparing very massive. Like there is mobilization as we speak. So anybody that is choosing to leave the military right now currently is not possible, because Niger is activating all capabilities right now. Because the reason, and a lot of people will be asking questions, why are they activating all their capabilities suddenly? Are they calling for an escalation or whatsoever? They are not calling for an escalation, because the intelligence report from General Abdurrahman Tiani is even deeper than what we have access to that is in the public domain. That's why I said his intelligence capability is enormous. So, according to the information, General Abdurrahman Tiani said something in this particular interview. He said there was a coalition of hybrid forces that took part in the Diori Hamani air base attack. Apart from the drone attack, apart from, oh, thank you for joining the live stream. So according to General Abdurrahman Tiani, 540,000 US dollars. 540,000 US dollars was the financial wherewithal that was invested in this particular Diori Hamani International Air Base attack. So converted to the CFA franc, according to the information, this was over 300 million CFA franc. According to General Abdulrahman Tiani, 200 million CFA franc was the operational planning funds. And according to him, the 100 million that came after was not part of the plan. So what they initially wanted to spend for this particular highly orchestrated attack was 200 million CFA franc. But at the end of the day, because a lot of miscalculation happened, because they were not expecting the level of counter-terrorism, counter-offensive that was launched by the Nigerian operatives. A lot of troops, we started, days after, we were seeing that some hybrid forces were even captured in Niger by locals. Some of them, they died on the streets, with, bullet wounds and all of that. So the ones that were displayed on the mainstream media during the time of reports was not the total number of casualty. I mean, KIA of the hybrid forces. Days after, we started seeing more casualty. So a lot of those guys, they fled the scene with bullet wounds. But, we've said it on the Andre community previously that some of those people are on different level of drugs. I mean, opiate class and all of that, that when they get hit, all they feel is pressure. They don't feel pain. They don't feel that mortal pain that sends the human anatomy into a state of paralysis. They don't feel it. Except if it's a bone-crushing hit. Something that knocks them out instantaneously. So, days after, and what we discovered was that when you look at the video of those that didn't die at the Diori Hamani Air Base, you would actually see that the bleeding was for a certain distance before the victim collapsed, right? So this particular, KIA or casualty was as a result of massive loss of blood. So according to General Abdulrahman Tiani, this was a coalition because 10 JNIM was involved. 10 Islamic states in the greater Sahel was involved. 20 Boko Haram. Not just the regular Boko Haram, but the Islamic states in West African province. So I hope everyone knows that the Islamic states in the West African province were previously Boko Haram members that actually broke away from Boko Haram. So when you see these people shouting Sharia up and down, you should understand that this is not about religion. This is about the interest of certain states. In Project Africa, there was a time where all they needed were, all they ever, requested to establish their influence was just probably a regime change and puppets. But in the Project Africa long-term plan, we are in the phase where terrorism is, to them, the most effective tool. And the religion that they see very, very attractive to their agenda is the Islamic religion. Okay? Number one, because it suits their agenda to bastardize our religion. It suits them. It suits their agenda. It suits their plan. It suits everything they want to do. So, it's not for everybody to understand what is going on, but it's okay. So, for those that always say that, because since yesterday I've been getting a lot of comment, people saying that why are the Nigerians preparing? Man, let's move forward, okay? So, according to General Abdulrahman Tiani, these ISWAP terrorists were recruited from Sokoto State in Nigeria Kebbi State in Nigeria, Zamfara State in Nigeria, and Katsina State in Nigeria. I have said this several times on this platform. But a lot of some Nigerians, when they come across this platform, they always feel like probably maybe I just dislike Nigeria as a country. But I have explained tirelessly and effortlessly on this platform that in the 21st century, 2026 to be precise, what I am looking at based on security calculation is that Nigeria, you know, that population, I am looking at a population that is going to be exporting, if care is not taken, you know, exporting terrorism. I'm telling you, with the whole Almajiri school of thought, because, you know, in the northern part of Nigeria, there's a thing called Almajiri school. I don't know if a lot of people know all this. There is a thing called the Almajiri school, and I've explained effortlessly. So categorically now, you see, you can see that everything I've said is in collaboration, everything is in perfect articulation with what General Abdurrahman Tiani said. These terrorists were from Sokoto State in Nigeria, Kebbi State in Nigeria, Zamfara State in Nigeria, Katsina State in Nigeria. And I can say that for that Katsina State, these terrorists were from the Bakori local government of Katsina State. It's so unfortunate. You see, anybody that thinks they can control terrorism in Nigeria, that person should go and think again. Okay? Because there's a lot of build-up. The US moved in more than 4 C-140 military aircrafts, cargo aircraft, heavily loaded, to the northeastern theater of operation today. According to information, they don't even know if it's in the Maiduguri base, the Air Force base in Maiduguri, or the one in Kaduna. There are a lot of speculation out there that it's probably the air base in Kaduna, and some are saying it's the air base in Maiduguri. Security analysts are saying it's air base in Maiduguri. Anonymous sources are saying the one in Kaduna. But to be honest with you, this looks like a big plan, because when I tell you, because I have all the reports here, and I'm going to be telling you about the level of capabilities that the Americans brought in. So when I look at the capability, the question I was asking myself is, are you bringing this level of capability for just some bunch of jihadists? But ladies and gentlemen, you know, we have to continue right now. Okay? Come on. Because some of these jihadists, they use human civilian shield. So I don't know how those capabilities are going to work. I don't know what the rules of engagement is going to be. But we'll get there. According to General Abdurrahman Tiani, now I said this specifically. You see, immediately the attack happened on that night, it took almost 12 a.m. the next day for the Islamic State to claim responsibility for that attack. So, according to General Abdurrahman Tiani here, this is where I know that they bribed somebody, and I said it on that day. I said they bribed somebody. They bribed somebody to claim that attack because it was very obvious. The jihadists came for uranium. What in hell does any jihadist know about uranium? Like, what do they understand about uranium? And they were guided, and a foreign personnel was involved. So that everything would not look like, oh man. And even they tried to frame and whatever, it was still obvious. Okay? So, according to the information, General Abdurrahman Tiani said it took 72 hours. Okay? That it took 72 hours for anyone to claim responsibility for the attack. That was what General Abdurrahman Tiani said. That it took 72 hours for the Islamic State in the Greater Sahel to take responsibility for this attack. He said, but we know how to go beyond the island because they have the means to go beyond the island. Okay? According to him, the EIGS claimed the attack after they were paid 100 million CFA franc. So everything now is over 300 million CFA franc that was paid for this operation. So, and I want everybody to understand that this is not just some payments. These are some group of people not only paying for their interests, they are paying for their survival. You see, this thing called interest, sometimes it doesn't apply. This is not interest. They are paying for survival because they came from nothing. Colonialism was a crime. Neo-colonialism is a continuous crime. I don't understand when people say some people are paying reparations and they are doing this and they are doing that. It never left. It never ever left. So, according to General Hamani Tiani, it was after this money was paid, okay, that the EIGS now made a statement that they carried out the attack. So, according to the words of General Hamani Tiani, it was important to deny and find a scapegoat. Obviously, that scapegoat was EIGS. Now, General Hamani Tiani says something. He said every time he speaks, people say they speak out of hatred. That there is nothing like hatred. That's what he said. He said, we speak because we have elements that are verifiable. What we say is true, according to General Hamani Tiani. He said they have facts and they have evidences that are verifiable. Like they're going to give you facts, they're going to give you exhibits, and they're going to tell you, go and verify. And ladies and gentlemen, you see, everything that General Hamani Tiani is saying is very, very true. Okay? Because don't forget that some were captured alive. And I can categorically tell you, okay, the ones that were captured, there is a level of interrogation that is being done by the Hausa people. Because even in Nigeria, you know, Nigeria, we have some amount of Hausa people, and Niger is predominantly Hausa. Those people can take interrogation to a very, very dark place, like the common interrogation. So I believe that the terrorists that were captured, you know, they must have told them a lot of things. And, you know, it's no fluke that when the terrorists ran away after they came under heavy firepower from the Nigerian armed forces, we noticed something. Days after, some of them did not even know their way out. That was why the locals started catching them. Why did they not know their way out? Some of these terrorists were from Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, stay with me. Some of these terrorists are from Kebbi State. They are from Zamfara State. They are from, you know, Katsina State. Some of these jihadists have never been to Niger before. But they were led into that particular airport. Okay? So the moment everything escalated and it went out of control, and probably, you know, let me ask you guys a question. Do you realize that the people that went to that particular airbase that led the operation were not the terrorists? According to the information we had, the invasion of that airbase was done by people that knows their way into the airbase. Hence the question, who have used that? Who are the people that have deployed capabilities in that airbase before? So it was formerly for the French soldiers. Hence, the role of the French DGSE agent that was neutralized. Are you with me? The French guy that led them into that place has probably, you know, there is a thing, there is a thing called planning. There is, you know, time for incursion, extraction, and all those things. But I believe immediately was knocked down and his devices were recovered. Everything went to hell. The entire plan went to hell. So definitely, some of the ones that did not even know their way around, they started pretending that they were mad people. They were the ones that probably came from Nigeria that did not know their way around Niamey. This is a deep plot, family. This is a very, very deep plot. So, according to the information that General Abdurrahmani Tiani said, he now revealed something again. Hence, this is an answer that addressed the question of those that have been saying, why are the Nigerians mobilizing for full-scale escalation? He revealed that Emmanuel Macron, the president of France, planned 7 other simultaneous attacks. Families, I don't know if a lot of people heard me. The first day, I said there was another attack that was launched in Maradi. The plan was to start neutralizing the civilians. It doesn't matter if the civilians were going to give up or not. The main aim was to distract the Nigerian capability from concentrating on one particular theater of operation, which is supposed to be the Diori Hamani. So when there is distraction they will come in with air power. And they will come from the North African country that they talked about and here lift the uranium and escape. But the attack failed. Everything failed. See, look, everybody has a game plan until they get to the point of impact where every second is unforgiving. You blink, you might exist in another, your existence might end you in another planet. The 72 Virgin is for real. The people that say they believe in 72 Virgin, they are the only ones that can tell you that the 72 Virgins is for real. So, ladies and gentlemen, according to General Abdurrahmani Tiani, the plan of Emmanuel Macron was to launch simultaneous attack against position of the Nigerian military in Tamu, Se, Torodi, Terra, Bankilare, Kwalam, Baribangu, Ayaru. He said the attack were repelled. Now, it is not like they did not attack. They attacked. According to General Abdurrahmani Tiani, they attacked. But the military of the Niger, they were already prepared. Now, listen. Let's get something very, very clear here. All of this attack would have been repelled. A security analyst asked the question. He said, how did he have access to this level of intel? And they did not still stop the attack. Number one thing, answer to that question is, the attack at the Diori Hamani International Air Base was foiled. That first attack, the main attack was foiled. Secondly, the troops, can you see that every location he mentioned, troops were already, look, you don't just repel an ambush by fluke. It doesn't happen by miracle. Everything, every rules of engagement, every order, every training, every hard work and dedication, we go down to that 00 hour. Every training you've ever done in your life, we apply in those moments, because those moments are the moment of truth that you're going to find out even some things about yourself that you've never found out before. How quick you will be able to summarize your entire life. Because this attack was a highly funded attack. based on the economy of the Nigerians, okay? But at the end of the day, they planned an ambush, and let's not get it twisted. They must have, the vehicle-borne capabilities, motorcycles, submachine guns, GPMGs of various grades. They must have been ready for this. So the only reason why the Nigerians were able to launch a serious counter-offensive against this particular attack was because there was an intel and they were preparing. Now, there was an intel about an incoming incursion to the Diori Hamani. There is no fluke that the Russian personnel were already mounting the air defenses. See, for your air defense capability, look, they were prepared for this attack. But what was the game changer for the jihadists that even failed? The game changer was to switch off. I don't know if a lot of people have heard the information from the locals. They've switched off the headlamp of the motorcycle. And do you know a situation where you switch off your motorcycle? You switch it off, it's no longer sounding. You put it on free and it's moving. Have you ever heard anybody that drives motorcycle knows this thing? You switch off your motorcycle, it's no longer making sound. And because you have some level of elevation advantage, you put it on free and it will be going shh, no sound. So that was their only decisive element of surprise. Okay? It was, and in that situation, you have to defend your most important capabilities. And a lot of people, they don't understand something. Let me explain something to you. I think a trainer's aircraft, what do they call the name of that? Yak 140, not the advanced model. These are aircraft that are used for training personnel of the Air Force. Okay? Now, I think the Yak 140 is a Russian-made aircraft. Now, this aircraft was sacrificed without any resistance. Why? The Nigerians were protecting strategic capabilities. I will tell you categorically that the drones in Niger, those drone capability, they are more strategic than the Yakutia. The reason why the drones are more strategic is these drones are stealth drones. They don't make sounds. They are very important for cross-border monitoring. They are very important for addressing hybrid warfare. You see, your drones are better. Because you see, by the time you are coming with your fighter jet, the sound is already an alarm to the terrorists to disengage. But see, this war is a war of attrition. It's a war where you have to break your enemy mentally and spiritually, even emotionally, to the point that they don't want to fight anymore. So it's like there is an armed robbery operation somewhere, you are going there and you are blowing your sirens that you are already coming. Okay? That means you are not ready for a fight. Niger is ready to fight. Now, the thing is this. The aircraft they sacrificed, very, very important at that point. They were able to defend the strategic capabilities. It was when they were going for the strategic capability, that was where they started knocking them down. Because in the Diori Hamani air base, right, airport, you have the civilian parts, which is the main airport, and you have the air base. What did they do? They sent personnel into the airports for the civilian, and they sent drones into the air base. And it is in the air base that you have the air defense system. We follow this information, what Nigeria call bumper to bumper. They were all neutralized, except one that crashed. And when it crashed on an ammunition depot. So that storage was sabotaged. But majority of those guys were knocked down. Now, that was how they disembarked. There is always a commander for a certain operation. The commander of this operation was knocked down, and immediately the commander got knocked down. The whole operation it went to shit. I'm so sorry for using that language. Okay? So now, possibly from the interrogation, a lot of people must have given their version of the story. This is what happened, and that one happened, and that's their business. But probably from the revelation of the terrorists, coupled with the level of intelligence gathering, don't worry, it's not only the Nigerians that gather intelligence. The Russian foreign intelligence services too. They are on the matter too. So the Nigerians, they had to activate all their personnel capability, all reserve. All the Nigerian reserve forces have now been activated. Probably. You know, we are at a time where the French economy is one of the worst economy now in the world. We're not talking about Europe here. We're not talking about the world. Now, when I say people are falling, a lot of people think probably where you are. Where you are is not how you are being graded. No, they don't grade you based on your... We will grade you based on, are you still moving from where you are? There are countries that they've reached a certain level, they stalled, they are no longer growing. So a lot of people are addressing them based on that past glory, and they are saying, oh, they are not growing. Nothing good. A lot of protests in France. The economy is completely shambolic right now. They are struggling, they are grappling with their economy. France was an economic giant. Don't forget. France, before they were selling energy. France, oh my God. They were selling uranium. They were exporting energy. And don't forget, they have no uranium. And the moment the Nigerians told them, we will not give you our uranium, our resources, our strategic resources belong to our people. And anybody that think they can put any sort of blockade on the Nigerian, you can see that they are not trying to put any blockade on the Nigerians. The Nigerians are like the worst kind of people you can try to blockade economically. You cannot. These people, they make cow meat, they make nunu from cow milk. Like, you can see a video. There was a video I posted yesterday where you see the Nigerians exhibiting their natural this thing. Their life is down to agriculture and what they make by themselves. So anybody that is trying to say you want to form an economic blockade, block it all you want. It's not going to affect them 1 second. I know these people. They are inside Nigeria. I know the Nigerians. You are wasting your time. They will not export. That they no consign. They see, but that they will survive. I can bet you they will survive. They will not survive. They will even be fine with that lifestyle. In fact, we the Nigerians, we used to wonder, who are these people? They are some of the most independent mind you can see in Africa. If the Nigerians are saying that they don't need, I'm telling you, they mean what they mean. They mean it completely, and they are not joking. They have the capabilities. I'm not just talking about, capabilities that you can see. I'm talking about mental capability. Those people are, to an extent, I have a lot of respect for them, but their lifestyle is a little bit, to an extent, is unbelievable. So if anybody is thinking you can block this coastal country, you can block that coastal country, they might not export, but they will be okay. So, according to the information that General Abdurrahmani Tiani said, that I gave, he said, Niger will now prepare correspondingly for any type of attack. Now, couple hours after, the Russian Wagner channel, not African Corps this time around, the Russian Wagner channel gave a report. They said, the Wagner channel said, a certain country, a certain neo-colonial country is trying to attack Niger. They said the military regime in Niger, together with private military company, is planning a major offensive against all French-backed terrorist organizations in the region. The Nigerian government, which expelled France from the country, has significantly increased its defense cooperation in Russia. He said, and we are ready to go to any level to defend our high priority partners. Ladies and gentlemen, look, I posted a video on our Telegram this night before I came to this live. The French people are saying, and I'm even talking about some of their politicians, they are saying they will not allow Emmanuel Macron to sacrifice them in regards to Russia, because it will be very, very quick. It won't be a special military operation, it will be a war. A lot of people don't understand what we are talking about. So if you see Niger saying we are ready for France, if you see Niger saying that, yes, it is France that they want, sometimes, right? Yes, France needs to be out for Africa to know peace. Okay? If you see Niger saying that we want the big dog in the yard, I'm telling you, it's coming from places that you cannot imagine sometimes. How? Let me tell you something. There is a thing on the street. You might be strong, but when you see a little child, based on your own capability, you know you are big. But when you see a little child come and challenge you in a certain way, you better watch your back. There is something behind that little child. So, in fact, if you are smart, you will not move. You will just be like, okay, I will let this go. There are people behind that child threatening you that it's you I want. Don't worry. By the time you make the move, you will see the numbers of the real enemies will come out. So, I mean, I hope they apply their sense, because if they don't, because, you know, Niger is now coming out in the open. Okay? They are coming out in the open to make this threat right now. And they are serious about it. Let me just give you a very small update on the side. I don't know if anybody know, is he Professor Inyamasi or something like that, that have now been assigned to the Department of, is it Department of Military something in the AES? Professor Inyamasi is one of the Pan-African great and all of that. The European Union and France have now frozen all its assets. First, they froze the asset of Nathalie Yamb. They've now frozen all his assets. So now let me say this, okay? You continue to come to Africa, you continue to come to the AES states. You say you want to operate, you want to relate with the Alliance of Sahel states on a platform of mutual respect and win-win partnership. You continue to say all these things. And at the same time, you are freezing the asset of people that are working for these states. It only means one thing. We don't even need to, we are not even supposed to entertain the presence of these people in our midst. I'm telling you, they have never ever changed, and they will never change. We should be coming to, I think Africa is special. And a lot of democratic African countries, they don't understand this thing I just said. When I say Africa is special, if your country is in a democracy, you don't understand, you cannot comprehend, you don't know what I'm talking about. The only people that can comprehend this now are the people in the Alliance of Sahel. Why is the US giving orders to Nigeria as if they are the grandparent of Nigeria? And they continue to send different special envoy. They've sent special envoy. They've sent a lot of personnel to the Alliance of Sahel. They continue to say different things. Oh, we respect your sovereignty. We want to do this. We are sorry for our policy missteps. But ladies and gentlemen, we're about to get into the big information. That is as regards Niger Republic. So I believe I love the methodologies of the Nigerians, because, you know, it's better you prepare so that, you know, you will not be caught unawares. Now, we notice something. Okay? The West might be pushing hard to recolonize Africa. Do you know the people they are recolonizing? See, look, Africa is on the path of recolonization, either they like it or not. Did you hear that terrorists are now amassing themselves in the northern part of Benin Republic? There is a reason why they are doing it. I've said this many times, that the grand scheme of things, in the grams, Professor Franklin Nyamasi, thank you very much, is all his assets has now been frozen by the European Union. If a motion that was moved by France. So, and European Union does not represent France, they represent all of them together. So when you see that they continue to send different this thing, and you know, we know what time it is. We are not sleeping in this continent. Now, according to the information we had, the senior official of the Bureau of African Affairs, Nick Checker, U.S. Department of State, Nick Checker had a telephone conversation with the Prime Minister, Hamani Zain of Niger Republic, to reaffirm the United States' respect for Niger's sovereignty, and to exchange views on topic of common interest, including fight against terrorism and support for economic priorities. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say this once again. Why do they continue to talk about fight against terrorism? If you go to the public domain, if you go to any domain now, there was only one country on the planet that have come out to say, we created ISIS, we created Al-Qaeda, we trained their first group of fighters. Special forces personnel, US Marines came out to say, oh, I trained the first group of Salafists, I trained the first group of Mujahids in so in Syria, in man. So when they tell you that we know about securities, because they are the chickens that lay these bad eggs. So they are talking about security partnership. Security partnership. Go and check Nigeria right now, ladies and gentlemen. I'm about to get to the Nigerian information. Some of you are going to be shocked. I'm so sorry, because I know a lot of people have their ancestral origin linked to Nigeria. And you know, Nigerians are one of the smartest people on the planet. But ladies and gentlemen, you know, there is a way the colonialists import their culture, their lifestyle, their fashion, their TV shows. And a lot of people don't understand that they are getting emasculated, you know, traditionally, by surrendering themselves to all these things. A lot of people will not understand. So, according to the information we have, now we are moving straight to Nigeria. Now, before we go to Nigeria, do you know that before the African Union president, you know, recently they have the African Union Summit, right? I think the 38th summit, right? In Addis Ababa. If you listen to the president, if you listen to the words of the president of the African Union, he was talking about unconstitutional, whatever, you know, regime, insecurity in the Sahel and all of that. Guess who had a personal picture with him before he came for that speech? Immediately, he was coming out for that speech. He had a personal picture with Nick Checker. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no coincidence that Nick Checker was a CIA agent from 2014 to 2025. According to their own proposal, they said Nick Checker resigned. He retired from active CIA officer in 2025. Now, there are different categories to this. There are CIA agents. The CIA agents are under the CIA officers. Right? So, the agents can be assets. Okay? The agent is under the command of the officers. And the officers are under the command of the deep state. So, Nick Checker is not just an asset or an agent. This guy is an officer. These are the people that recruit CIA assets. I want to say this categorically, that we need to be even extremely careful with Nick Checker. extremely, extremely careful. The fact that this guy just retired in 2015, how can you say that a CIA agent retired in 2025? Behind us here, all his experience and capability. They said he even took so many awards. So if a CIA officer, operative, can be given so many awards while he was serving in the CIA, ladies and gentlemen, that is a JNIM 2.0 right there. So this one that is coming, is going, is doing everything. So you will see that there is a sort of hypocrisy here. They continue to, and in Nigeria now, oh my goodness, Nigeria have started responding in some capacity, okay? But let me put something out there right now. Let's get into it. According to reports from Defense Nigeria, report states that sanction, right, because the US is saying that they want to sanction the Chinese mining firm. And the Chinese Foreign Ministry have responded. In fact, they said all media, independent or national media, should stop spreading this propaganda that the US is trying to spread. According to the report from Defense Nigeria, reports that sanctioning Chinese mining firm operating in Nigeria would carry significant diplomatic and economic implication. Do you know why they are saying it to carry significant economic and diplomatic implication? China is 10 times bigger than US when it comes to partnership with Nigeria. The debt that Nigeria is owing China, I don't believe that they can pay in this lifetime. They cannot. When all the ships are down, the partner that Nigeria turns to is China. So, according to them, they said some American lawmakers, perhaps in a bid to appeal to their domestic political base, are becoming excessively involved in Nigeria's internal affairs. They are exploiting legitimate concerns within Nigeria to score a point at home. According to the Defense Nigeria said the US and Nigeria are strengthening defense cooperation to address the insurgency and broader security challenges. That partnership should be allowed to develop and should not be derailed by needless geopolitical posturing and grandstanding. So now Nigeria is beginning to tell them that, look, you are coming here, you are even being invited because of your R2P, not because you are special. Ladies and gentlemen, the United States have been in Nigeria in some capacity for a very long time. In fact, they've been in Nigeria for so long. Both the CIA and all of that. To save Nigeria is a mission impossible, actually. I'm telling you. Because every tool they brought to Nigeria is working like the clockwork. Every tool, CIA, MI6, DGSE, whatever you want to talk about is in Nigeria. And they have active assets. Active assets. Remember, the CIA said the president of Nigeria is an asset. Now, let's come to it. How does like I said something just now, that there are CIA officers, okay? And there are CIA assets. That you are an asset of the CIA doesn't mean you are untouchable. It means you've been sabotaged. It means you've been compromised. There is a dent on your image. And because there is a dent on your image, they will use that weakness to manipulate you and use you, even against your own will. They can spend years dancing around you and investing and doing a lot of things. When they gain you as an asset, they turn you into an espionage machine. So when you see that the CIA came out and they said the president of Nigeria is an active asset of the CIA, what they are saying is that we have a secret. We know him more than he knows himself. The food he ate last night, we know it. The certificates, we know if it's original or fake. If he was a drug lord or whatsoever, we know it. That's what they are saying. So he's currently going to do everything we ask of him because we have the power to regime change him. That is the meaning of that statement. We have the authority to get him out. So the only reason why he is there, thank you very much. The only reason why he is there is because we own him. That's what they call an asset. An asset is not something special. When they say somebody is an asset, is owned. Spirit, soul, and body is totally compromised. So that is the situation of Nigeria. Oh, man. Well, according to information, the US have now supplied over 1,000 MK82 bombs, 500 IB general multipurpose bombs, thousands of GBU-12 bombs, GBU-58 pave way to laser guidance guided bomb kits, 500 advanced precision kill weapon system 2, APKWS rockets, FMU 152 joint programmable fuses, guidance kits for precision targeting, among many other advanced systems. Ladies and gentlemen, that was why I asked the question, why this level of capability? But what they said was that they needed a drone refueling center. They said, and they were going to be giving Nigeria area cover. And when they were talking about area cover, something that looked like a sort of surveillance in the sky. The CIA can come in and bug your place without even knowing it. Absolutely. Absolutely, family. Absolutely. That's a very, very correct statement. So when I looked at the level of capability, and I was lucky enough to see a video of those stockpiles. I don't know what their intention are. But if you look at one of the speculated base that they are going to be using, if you look at Maiduguri, ladies and gentlemen, which is the northeastern theater of operation, from Maiduguri, you will walk into Niger barefooted. So let's say they scramble their reconnaissance capability in the sky of Maiduguri. There is a high probability that they will cover more than half of the territory of Niger. They will have eyes inside. From Nigeria, they have eyes on Niamey. From Nigeria, from northern Nigeria, either the northeast or the northwest. If you're in the northwest, you have complete vision of, the Nigerian capital. So the question we should be asking now is that what is all this grandstanding? What is all this for? Are we fighting terrorism for real? What negotiation has the ISWAP made recently? Before, ISWAP said no, that they are not going to attack Niger. Why are they attacking now? So there's a lot of questions that we need to ask. And don't forget, Boko Harams have been captured several times in Niger. Where is the origin of Boko Haram? Nigeria. You see, that's why it's painful when I'm listening to a lot of Nigerian channels and I'm hearing things like terrorists that come from Niger Republic and Mali. And these people don't, you see, the problem with Nigerians is that their entire existence only, either they travel out to maybe the European countries or their entire existence is from Maiduguri to Calabar. They don't know anywhere else. So once they see you, you don't look like a Nigerian. Oh, it's from Niger, it's from Mali. They don't even know that you will cross Burkina Faso before you get to Mali. Everything is from Niger and Mali. But ladies and gentlemen, based on the attack on the Diori Hamani International Air Base, where are these people coming from now? 4 different states in Nigeria that are known to be the greatest breeding ground of terrorists. And I'm telling you, to solve the problem of terrorism in Nigeria, I can categorically tell you today, there is no way a genocidal level of casualty will not be recorded. You have to, in fact, to solve the issue of terrorism in Nigeria based on the number of terrorists that are on ground, international law will be violated. I have seen the level of terrorism in this country. This one that some people think, I don't think if there is an amount of bullets any particular detachment or deployment can take to the battlefield that can take all the terrorists out. Let's imagine that the terrorists are coming with cutlass and people are with rifle. You cannot carry see, when you look at the number of terrorists you have in the northeastern part of Nigeria and the northwestern part of Nigeria, let's imagine all those terrorists are carrying cutlass and you are carrying GPMGs, right? That you have gunslings and all of that. You can't take all of them out. That is the amount, that is the numbers you have. So much. When I'm talking about breeding ground, they have reserve, they have sleeper cells. Families, do you even know that the sleeper cells have not been activated? There is nothing too bad for these people to do. I posted a video on our Telegram channel. Did you see how these people are even ready to sacrifice themselves when it comes to suicide bombing? Thank you so much, family. Thank you so much. So, my take is, if the US goes directly to the belly of the beast, if they go to Maiduguri, if Maiduguri is where they are going to pitch their tent, then I can say with my full chest, because right now I can't say specifically that they are in charge of some of these jihadist groups. But if they go to Maiduguri, that means they are the godfather of these jihadists. If they dare go to any, because let me tell you something. You see, in Maiduguri, there is nowhere in Maiduguri that is safe. These guys are ready to sacrifice for themselves for any purpose. So if the US, because I'm seeing US female personnel, I'm like, come on, man, don't do that to yourself. The females are not ready for this fight. If they are truly here for a fight, they are not ready for this fight. These guys will find a way to come in and make sure that place goes down. If they are truly there for a fight, they will get a fight. So bringing in a female personnel, you are not really ready like that. You are not ready like that. Okay. So that is part of it. And according to the information we heard, Niger Republic has now, regularized their relationship with Algeria. According to information, there is now a normalization of relationship on institutions from Algeria. President, the ambassador to Niger, is resuming his post in Niamey effectively, immediately. According to a statement from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, both countries' ambassador now resume duty in both nations immediately. So from the information we got last, the foreign minister of Niger, they've now sent the Nigerian ambassador to Algiers. They sent him down. They've sent Algerian ambassador to Niger. According to information that we've heard, now the Alliance of Sahel states could now be working with Algeria. I said this earlier, that there is a gap. There is a diplomatic gap. There's a relationship gap. There is a vacuum that was created by this so-called sold out, thank you very much, same in Burkina. This so-called coastal, fake coastal nation, I don't know how much they generate from their seaports. Algeria just took advantage of this opportunity. And I can guarantee you, Algeria is very close to where they will get all their resources from. And there is a very high chance that their resources through Algeria will come into the Alliance of Sahel without any attack. I don't know how it's going, but I just think Algeria has more security capability than those in the southern part of the Sahel that are misbehaving. If they want to continue to tell lies and misbehave, they can continue. Because we cannot deny the fact that, you see, in time of conflict, okay, you turn to the most available assets. You turn to the most available capability at your disposal. So right now, if we are to talk diplomatically, you know, Algeria. And according to the information that I had, the reason why Niger redeployed, the reason why they took their ambassador away from Algiers was because of the Malian Barrack Kinshi drone. Injury to one is injury to all. The Article 6 is always there. So the fact that, now listen again, if you scratch any of these three states, they react at once. They react as one against you. So let me just say this categorically. The fact that the Algerian ambassador to Algiers, the Nigerian ambassador to Algiers have now returned to Algeria, it means that the alliance of Sahel states diplomatically, they are in good terms with Algeria. And there is only one thing I can say at this point. It's game over for whoever is getting angry down south. It's game over. And it's to the benefit of Algeria. So all the equipment and everything will come into the port of Algeria. It's over. You're not going to get any money again. So if you want to get angry, you continue to get angry. That's your business. A lot of people are supposed to think diplomatically, but if they cannot think diplomatically, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Yes, for the drones, like I said again, it's not in my purview to decide for the Alliance of Sahel States. But this is the information in public domain. So if the Alliance of Sahel States, if any of them have already found a working relationship with Algeria, I can guarantee you that it means that they now have a functional diplomatic relationship. Okay? So to me, it's a mutually beneficial agreement. It doesn't mean that they are going to be eating in the same plate. Algeria is no longer closer to France. Okay? Algeria is no longer closer to France. So, whatever it is, we will see. We'll continue to monitor the report and we'll continue to give you the information. Mali today refused, according to Le Monde, Mali refuses to negotiate the release of the French DGSE agent, Ian Vesili, who has now been detained for 6 months in Mali. You see, when Niger said they are ready to go to the town battle with France, I know a lot of people must have been thinking, what do they think? The fact is that now Ian Vesili has been detained in Mali for 6 months. Like I said, no level. No level for this. See, I won't lie to you. No level. France has, oh God, I'm so sorry. I'm like, no level. Do you know that a French citizen have now been arrested in Senegal? That you are conniving and playing with these people doesn't mean that they won't mess you up. If you see what they were doing in Senegal, oh, Bashiru. If you see what they are doing in Senegal, we need to be very, very cautious of the culture we emulate. And that is part of sovereignty. A lot of people might think they are conniving and colluding and doing a lot of things, but at the end of the day, they will end up regretting it and they will be the ones to get emasculated at the end of the day. That's it. They are using the Beninese. But has this stopped the terrorism that is extravasating gradually into the southern part of Benin? Has this stopped it? Mainly the JNIM. They're even calling for more battalion of of hybrid warfare, personnel to move into northern Benin. Why are they calling for that? God helping the Beninese, it had been the Burkinabe forces that have battered those guys to that point. If not, I said, from information, when the Beninese forces meet these guys, it's 40 kilometer, 100-meter race. It's 40 kilometer before they stop. And you have the French forces in their country. They say they are doing some maritime exercise together. You better go to the gym if you want to do exercise. Not with the French. Go to the gym if you want to do exercise. People that train personnel with mahogany. Personnel that are going to be facing live fire with mahogany. Instead of performing military exercise with France, go to the gym. So, so according to the information we have, there is a possibility that the United States transport aircraft will continue to bring in equipment to Nigeria even tomorrow. According to the information, some of this the last aircraft that moved to Nigeria had to land in Ghana, in the Ghanaian airbase before moving to Nigeria. But like I said, when you look at the build-up in Nigeria, it doesn't look like a drone refueling base. That excuse is so terrible. You don't go in with C-14. You don't go in with 4 heavy loaded cargo aircrafts after dropping personnel. See, look, they've dropped personnel. Personnels were already on ground. So to bring in capabilities, 4. Are they bringing 100 drones? So according to the information we have from Burkina Faso now, Burkina Faso will now receive Russian Su-25 frog fruits from Russia. According to information, the export variant of this aircraft has been recently built by Rostec for North Korea and Russia and Burkina Faso. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the information coming out of Rostec, which is a Russian Sukhoi aircraft manufacturing company. So, there was a counter-terrorism operation in Niger, and as we speak, 43 enemies, if they are crawling, they have received their 72 virgins already. If by crawling, by way of crawling with both hands and knees, they have received their 72 virgins, and they are, in fact, they are done right now. And this operation happened in the region, in a village called Baka, 10 kilometers from the urban community of Tilaberi, urban commune of Tilaberi. So that's the information. So 43 KIA from the engagement they have with the Nigerian troops. So the last operation of today, Burkina Faso have now turned out 83 new special forces operators ready to serve the nation. Do you know what that means? It means that Burkina Faso have liberated a very huge amount of their territory, and those special forces will be deployed to those places. Now, possibly part of the deployment will be some experienced special forces personnel that have earned their titles on the battlefield, that have claimed a lot of scalps. They will be deployed with them. So when you hear that a new special forces detachment is coming out in Burkina Faso, a new place have just been conquered. So, and for anywhere to be conquered, just know that some jihadists have actually got their skull slammed on the concrete. So that's what it means. More than 200 candidates began the special forces training at the Special Forces Operator Training Center. They followed a 9-month curriculum structured in 3 phases: initiation, acquisition, and hardening. However, only 83 of them, thank you so much, Black Pearl, for the donation. Thank you so much. Only 83 of these men were declared fit after this extremely demanding training, which combines physical fitness, mental strength, and intelligence. These 83 special forces operators, now dubbed the Blues, That's the name of the special forces. They call them the Blues. Proudly wore their badge, symbol of their courage and selflessness. They thus become a full member of the Rapid Intervention Brigade Special Forces Group in Burkina Faso. Ladies and gentlemen, we got an information very early this morning. Sorry, the morning of yesterday, that there is a continuous bombardment of the jihadists in Djibo. You know, according to the information, Burkina Faso, in matter of weeks, could be ready to launch a serious offensive in the southern part of Barabule. If Burkina Faso is already tipping the scales of Barabule, I can guarantee you, these guys are moving at God's speed. And a lot of people don't understand. These places, the jihadists have see, these jihadists have been given defense capabilities. I mean, strong, sophisticated, modern defense capabilities. They even use drones. So if the Burkina Faso armed forces continue to move forward, you already know what time it is. And one thing I can say is that the fighting spirit of the Burkinabe armed forces is unbelievable. And this is a war. And in war, some days you win and some days you might learn. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what we see is that the Alliance of Sahel State, they continue to reclaim their territories, territory at a time, territory at a time, territory at a time. If you look at how big a country is, if Alliance of Sahel State can tell you that they went from 72, if Burkina Faso can tell you that they went from 72% to 74%, and when they say this percent, it is not that these places there will be ambush. No, it's under complete domination. When Burkina Faso tell you that they've recovered 4%, right? It's not that they are telling you that they recover this 4% and maybe that 4% can come under ambush. No. When they tell you they've recovered anywhere, it's complete domination of that place. So we'll continue to see and we'll continue to monitor the development. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, I want to say thank you. And this is the information I have for you. I think I'm very, very lucky that the network didn't mess up because it's raining heavily. And in Nigeria, once it's raining, you know, everywhere goes to. And that was why we didn't start the live stream very, earlier. But I want to appreciate everyone for coming. And I do understand that every time we launch a live stream, it's an opportunity for everybody to listen. And I think equally, it's an opportunity. The enemies is always come to listen. And we know this, gotten your messages before. We know that you guys are monitoring heavily. So I want to bid you farewell with your campaign in the Alliance of Sahel State because, only you and I know that the result on the line of contact is very, very bad. Because if it's not bad, they won't be requesting for backup in Benin, in northern Benin. And ladies and gentlemen, I just want to give you another intel. Majority of the enemy KIA in northern Benin is being done by the Burkinabe units. The Beninese are trying their best too, but before Pascal Tigri led that coup d'etat, that man has seen hell before he led that coup d'etat. Don't forget, Pascal Tigri was one of the man that led the coup d'etat in Burkina Faso. He was one of the commanders in the northern front line in Benin. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll continue to come here with credible information, and we hope that we've been able to give you some information that are valuable. So thank you, and God bless you, man. I'll see you tomorrow.